Welcome back. We're going to start off by going through some questions and comments from our YouTube. And also, I want to address a rumor that's been going around, and that is that Danielle is or looks like Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my God, I love it.
The rumors are true.
Uh,
And all I have to say is I want to be Miss Potts.
Mrs. Potts, yeah. I'm a big fan of tea, definitely a big tea drinker. I like books. Actually, you know what's funny, Ashley? My husband, so he was at the gym and he said he has a new nickname from some of the gym goers, and his name is Beast. I don't know why.
What?
I don't know why.
So random.
And I'm like, okay, so I'm Beauty and you're the Beast. So
We
yeah.
didn't stage this either. This is completely unplanned.
Yes,
And
obviously.
you should have seen Danielle's reaction when I told her people think she looks like Belle. And I can't unsee it now.
Well, I love that. Fun fact. I have, well, it's not actually not that fun, but I've never dressed up as Belle, even though she's my favorite Disney character.
She was my favorite character too, actually. And I did dress up like her when I was a kid. I had the whole yellow dress and I mean, never mind the storyline of what's that thing where I can't think of the word now. Like the storyline is kind of weird because she falls in love with her captor. What is that called?
I like bestiality.
No.
Okay, sorry.
People in their comments are kind of going to be like, oh, why can't she? It's so obvious. And of course, I'm going to remember later. But yeah, the storyline is a little weird. But I loved everything outside of that. Like I love the books and the tea and she's dancing through the town and stuff. I just loved that part of that movie.
Yeah, it's the yellow dress, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we've addressed that rumor,
That will live with me forever.
yeah, I knew it as soon as I saw it. I was like, "Oh, that's our best comment."
I'm a fan.
That's good. Yeah, and I love the tea kettle and her son Chip. So cute. It's my favorite character.
I have a little Chip mug. He's in my cupboard where Chip belongs. So got it at Disney years and years ago, and I should really use it more, but I'm scared I'm going to break it.
Does it have an actual chip in it?
Yeah. If I were to go get him, it is Chip. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
I'll send you a pic later.
Yeah, we'll have to bring it on the YouTube someday. Okay, let's go to some comments here. Let's see what else we have. Okay, someone said, why the library? Eat fatty red meat, carnivore diet, my IBD was solved, nutrition on maximum, pooping twice a week is the new normal. What do you think of that?
I think I would probably cry if I only pooped twice a week.
That sounds rough. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pooping twice a week, I would say, is not normal. And with carnivore diet, we have to think about long term too. Yes, can you get symptom relief? Yes, you can get symptom relief with all kinds of diets that restrict certain groups, but that's not really all that we're after here, right? We're after, we want to see disease activity go down, inflammation go down. That all has to be happening too for something to be good and effective and more than just symptom relief.
Yeah, right. Like with anyone's comment, no matter if they are following carnivore or not, we never know the full picture, which is why that anecdotal evidence can be so, not great to say the least. So, I mean, it's best to, of course, converse with your healthcare provider to figure out what works best for you. But I mean, going to the bathroom only twice a week and only ever really eating red meat doesn't sound like the vibe I'm going for. Nor is it shown in the science to be promising for your health. So be mindful of comments like that.
Yeah, and anecdotes are just that. it's someone's experience, but it doesn't mean it's the whole experience. It's the experience at that moment in time. And something I'll add that I mentioned on Instagram recently was that something to keep in mind with today's technology is you can have comments that are not from actual people. So you can have bots essentially that auto comment. So some of the time, the comments are not actually coming from real people. And if you start to see the same ones over and over, kind of that same format, that could be a sign. We've seen a lot of stuff on the back end of our website too. When we did a blog on the carnivore diet and we started, on the back end, you can kind of see where things come from. So yeah, that's kind of how I started to pick up on the fact that, okay, not all of these comments are actually real. So something to keep in mind, because if, I think a lot of people are interested because I think it leans heavily on people's experience and maybe a little bit of distrust for healthcare providers and for the whole healthcare system, which I totally get. But you can kind of poke holes in that too, because you really just can't rely on just experience, especially when we're in the age when experience isn't even always accurate.
Yes. Agreed. What's our next comment, Ashley?
All right, moving on. Yeah. Okay, someone said, let's see, they also wanted to add to your simple tips to improve your digestion with IBD, chewing fennel seeds followed by 10 minutes of walking after every meal, which is great. Those are great tips to add, honestly.
Chewing, now, okay. Walking, 100%. I agree. Chewing fennel seeds. Well, I just want to see what that looks like.
Well, there are some downsides with that too. Like, so fennel, you know what I mean? Like fennel and cardamom, they're great for reducing bloat. Fennel, though, can be a little bit of a laxative if you're doing like a fennel tea. That can be more of a gut stimulant.
What would that taste like? Does that taste like chewing on grass? But like the fennel flavor? Do you know what I mean? Like that.
I kind of think it tastes like a pizza dish. Fennel seeds have like that real strong pizza, like it's the strong flavor in pizza.
Okay. Because yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm like, Now, hey, everybody can do as they please. I just don't know. I think I'd prefer the walk over just chewing fennel seeds.
Yeah, or chewing
But
cardamom seeds.
yeah, I won't knock it too much until I try
it. Fair enough.
That's very interesting.
Okay, someone's mentioned we have a lot of the same category as like just people sharing stuff about carnivore diet and they're in just taking out a bunch of foods, which I think if you've listened to some of our videos, our stance is don't eliminate a lot of the things that are helpful, like fresh fruits and veggies, but finding ways to bridge that gap between symptoms and between them triggering symptoms and actually us getting a benefit from them. I've just discovered we had a lot of comments. I didn't know we had all these. Someone asked about particularly skipping meals in the morning as a way of decreasing symptoms. What are your thoughts on that?
Skipping meals in the morning.
Yeah, I think they're referring to kind of like an intermittent fasting sort of format.
Right. I mean, when it comes to myself being an IBD patient, I can understand why you would want to pause a meal at times. Is that always the best thing for an individual? No. The reasons that come up in my mind that I would like to chat about now is first and foremost, we want to make sure that you are getting enough food in your day, because if you're skipping a meal, are you skipping a meal because you're in a flare? And if you're in a flare, your caloric needs are higher. So we always want to make sure you're eating enough in the day in some fashion. And when you skip a meal, that could lead to hunger catching up to you later in the day, which could lead to you eating more later and a larger portion later, which could amplify more symptoms for you. So being mindful of those sorts of things is important. When it comes to adjusting your meal timing. Right now in the research, Ashley, I don't know if I can fully comment on if there's any benefits to it. Have you read the recent research on it? Is there any recent research on it?
I don't know if I haven't seen anything specific to IBD yet, but from my perspective, it depends on the benefit that we're after, right? So there is some positive research on intermittent fasting for certain things, not necessarily digestive related things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also important to recognize that intermittent fasting can come in different formats. It doesn't have to be fasting through the day. It could be your traditional, like fasting through the night. Another thing is one downside to intermittent fasting when it comes to digestive diseases and especially IBD is that you're essentially slowing down transit time by skipping. So when you skip meals, you're slowing things down, which can lead to more bloat and potentially diarrhea later. Bloat, diarrhea, constipation, it can just ramp up your intestinal symptoms, which would be a major downside.
Yeah, yeah. And there are definitely some reasons that people do fasting, one of them being Ramadan,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, like I said to start all of this, we can totally understand the reasons behind why someone would want to, or of course, like what I said for religious practices. But really to ask yourself, like, okay, is this helping me right now? Or am I just doing this because it's the latest fad?
Right.
It's not really the latest fad. It's been in the media for a
Yeah.
while. But I feel like it just always makes its rounds.
Right. Yeah. And of course, if you are doing it for religious reasons, we can find some ways to, you can find ways to support yourself digestively so that you can mitigate some of those symptoms. And that's more temporary than, say, um, doing it longer term to get some kind of health benefit out of it. So I think it's a matter of weighing what's most important to you right now. If your IBD is not affecting you that much, and if you're in a stable spot, maybe that might be accessible to you, if especially if you've got other things going on that you want to address. But
Mhm.
just our 2 cents. But I think we've gone through about 15 minutes of questions. So yeah, thank you all for leaving comments and for following us and subscribing on YouTube. We have about 1,000 people so far, which is awesome. We're super excited about that. And please share, like, subscribe, all the things so that we can keep having these kinds of conversations and also bringing on important guests to YouTube and the podcast.
And wait, one last thing. Maybe consider tagging Disney in this video. And maybe I can meet the Belle at the park
Yes.
someday.
Yes, please comment below if you think Danielle looks like Belle from Beauty and the Beast and if I look like Miss Potts.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Bye.